I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And don't forget the men who died and gave their life to me. And I will stand up next to you, Dom. Are we live right now? 'Cause I love this land. God bless the USA. Okay, we are live, everybody. What's going on Instagram? What's going on Facebook? It's your boy Steve here, right? We are going to be talking about the Sandsport Super Show, and also Justin is going to be giving a Baja 400 race recap. And I know what you're thinking. Gosh, this building looks new. Because it is. But in order to talk about that type of stuff, we got to go over to Justin Smith.
Thanks for that excellent rendition, Steve. Very patriotic. Appreciate that. And yes, also, thanks for teeing up new building. So we are in the new Upfit building, which is literally down the street from all of shock therapy stuff. But if you take a look around, this is actually going to be the beginnings of the Upfit showroom. We'll have multiple models of vehicles in here. Offices just starting, literally are moving in this week, a little bit last week. So don't criticize the decor too much because we're still working on that. But we'll even walk outside a little bit later in this so you can take a look at some of the vehicles and areas where we're setting up and brand new stuff in line to be built. But this particular, episode is going to be more of a Baja recap from the 400 last weekend, and also some of the things we have lined up for you guys when it comes to the Sandsport Super Show, which is this weekend. Hopefully you can make it out there because we're going to have a heck of a contest where we're giving away money for something that's not very hard for you to go around the show and do. Steve will tell us all about that a little bit later, all right? Or you want to tell about it now? No, why don't you start off with it, and we'll go back to it. That way people understand both sides of this.
So we'll just start it off at the beginning. So what we're doing, guys, we're going to have a first, second, and third place. First place, you can win $1,000 cash. And all you have to do for the $1,000 prize, the $500 prize, and the $250 prize, all you have to do is walk around the show and take pictures next to a shock therapy equipped vehicle, meaning it's got our shock therapy sticker on it. So take a cool little picture.
That was kind of a lame one.
Kind of like
give
that.
Me some more. Give me some more.
Sorry.
Give me all your. Work it.
Do one of those.
Work it.
Do one of
those.
Come on.
More personality. Give it to me.
And then we need a picture next to the entire car. Okay? Now, be respectful of all the vendors. Please don't do anything crazy to their cars.
And don't touch their car.
And don't touch it unless you have permission. But what we're going to be doing is whoever has the most pictures next to shock therapy equipped vehicles, we are going to be giving the first place winner $1,000, second place winner $500, third place $250. If there is a tiebreaker, it is going to be whoever has the funniest or sexiest picture.
Why don't you give us another sample of what that could look like, Steve? Let me hold this for you.
I mean, you can get down.
Give me sexy.
Down like this.
Give me some sexy.
You can go like this. You know what I mean? Paint me like one of your Italian girls. What was that in the Titanic? I don't know. But anyways, take a good picture. That's all we're looking for. We will be announcing the winner at 4 p.m. at our booth on Saturday, September 21st. So make sure you are there by 3:30 so we can do all the tallies, and then at 4 o'clock we'll announce the winner.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate that. I'm going to ask for exactly the same thing, exactly the way you said it, and exactly the same posts at the end of this feed.
Can't wait.
See if you can duplicate it. All right, so Baja 400. I'll try and be really quick because if you guys have questions about it, then go ahead and put the question in the feed so Mitch and Steve can see what your question is. If you guys have any questions about the race car, please ask away. We have nothing that we're going to hide on that. We'll tell you everything that's on the car, and I'll even walk around it right now and point out some of the stuff that's on it, because the majority of items that are on this car are the same things that we have at Shock Therapy, at Geiser, and on Upfit vehicles. We use the race car and the race team for multiple reasons, but the main reason is to test our new products, make sure they're perfect before in real world racing situations, racing stress and abuse before we sell it to you. So Baja 400 miles, lots of people, lots of really, really awesome teams, super talented people in lots of classes, honestly. But in the UTV Open class, Pro Open class, it's a stacked field. You've got Brandon Sims, you've got Wayne Matlock, Kristen Matlock, you've got Cognito, you have Alsup, you have the Polaris race team, factory team with 3 drivers in there. That's just to name a few, and there's probably 20 more guys that could all win the race at any moment in time. They're all really fast. So we started off at 13th, and as I walk around the car, if you want to, I'll just chat away, but as we started 13th, and the plan was for me to drive the first half of the race, so 200 miles, and at the second half, then Corey Geiser would take over, who Corey, Sean, and Geiser Performance built 100% of this car, with the exception of some of the products from Shock Therapy that are on it. And Corey's going to jump in and take the second half. So in the first 200 miles, it was very tight, not much wind, lots of dust. Everybody was fighting that and basically in a train behind each other. But we started 13th and gave the car to Corey in perfect condition. We were 7th or 8th at that time. And Corey hopped in it, and we had kind of talked about the pace. Well, the pace was faster than we thought, obviously, but the goal in the first half was to just deliver a car that had no problems, and the second half turn it up as much as possible. So Corey jumped in it and drove like a man possessed. I mean, his hair was on fire, and he went through the field one at a time, even dealing with the dust, and then passed his way up to about 3rd or 4th, and with his eyes on the front. So we were making up some time. Now, keep in mind, the top 13 people, because we started 13th, we were watching times. First place started 7 minutes ahead of us. Well, when we handed the car off, the top 15 people were in 12 minutes. That over 200 miles, only 2-minute spread, 3-minute spread over that much time. That is almost unheard of. And everybody is driving as hard as they possibly can, like qualifying laps the whole time and bicycling up in corners. Dom can actually attest to that. Why don't you hop in, Dom? So Dom was flying helicopter chase during the race, and from time to time he'll go up in front and take a look at what the leaders are doing, or behind us and take a look at what the guys are doing. And I mean, describe what everyone was up to. It was just
so
hard.
I can describe what you were doing. You were eating dust a lot for the first 200 miles, obviously. Then when you handed over to Corey had some clean air, some fresh air, and he was on the gas. If you ever have doubt with Corey Geiser driving, he can drive the hell out of these things.
Mm-hmm. How about the pace of everybody you were looking at?
The pace, I've watched the factory Polaris teams haul ass. I've watched you haul ass. I've watched Corey, Sean. The pace is unbelievable. The amount of, what do you even say? The amount of abuse these cars can actually take out there is insane.
There's no such thing as saving the car anymore.
No.
If you want to drive with everybody else.
If you want to,
you have to drive knowing you're going to blow this thing up or win.
If you want to be competitive, this is how you have to drive them. Mm-hmm. Super fast, super hard, and you have to have the right parts so they can live, so the car can live.
Yeah.
If you don't have that, then you're going to break it. I mean.
Cool. Well, thanks, Tom. So handed it off to Corey. Corey took off. He passed his way up to 3rd or 4th, but as often happens in a race, you make a couple mistakes, and I believe a right-hand turn was called, and it was a left, something like that. And Corey put it on its side. It's the other side, but not very much damage had happened. They got out and they were riding the car with the jack to get it back on the tires and go, and actually broke the jack with a tire that rolled into it. So they were stuck there waiting for somebody to help. We got a pre-runner off the trailer and drove it into him and pulled it back over, but 3 hours had gone by. So they finished the race in 15th, 3 hours behind basically, or after the 3 hours on its side, and that was our race. So we finished. We're very excited that we finished. We're very happy that the car has pace and that we're able to keep up with the pros, and we're planning on putting more miles on the car. We're going to be racing it this weekend to shove another 200 miles on it and another race after that before we even prep it. So literally, have not touched it, 400 or 500 miles on the car now. We're going to put another 2 and another 2. The goal is to make sure that this thing will live 1,000 miles so that when we prep it for the Baja 1000, we know we've got a car that'll go the whole way. Steve.
Justin, another good point to bring up is there are a couple other people that had Upfit Baja Limiteds, I believe, for the pre-run as well, correct?
Oh, actually, thank you very much, Steve.
There are a couple of sponsored racers.
Yeah, so we have Brandon Sims used his Baja Limited pre-runner for the whole pre-run. And he was with us for a good section of that and able to run the course multiple times. Wayne and Kristen Matlock each have Baja Limited. And we had a couple other customers who have purchased a Baja Limited from some dealerships in the last few weeks come down and join into some of the Mexico pre-running. So the cars are super capable, zero issues with this stuff. We've tested it, we know what needs to be on it, and that's a really solid package. So if anybody's considering one, if you want to go out in the desert and rip it, that's the package you want to buy because you know it's going to live and you're going to get back to the trailer without having to work on the thing.
Tried and true.
That's it. So if you guys have any questions on the race, great, hit me up and I'll answer them. For now, yeah, what do you got, Dom?
Just curious on what tires we have.
We
Very curious,
shameless
Dom.
plug. So come on in on the tire. We've got a Method regulator, 35-inch tire. If you take a look at the tread on this, that's 500 miles of nasty abuse on that tread, and it's definitely better than, it's probably 60% left on that. And take a look at the rear. I mean, not that you have any more or less horsepower on it, but the rears tend to take more abuse, and that has got a ton of life left in it after 500 miles of let's rip this car apart pace, on purpose. Mitch?
Do you like them better than the DSRs?
I do. I think a DSR has the ability to slide into the corner. It's a little bit easier to push sideways. These have more traction in the corner, which in a racing environment, I think it's a little bit better for what we do. But personal preference also comes into that. Depends on how you like to drive. So, Steve?
Was the Baja 400 actually 400 miles?
No, it was 420. Right? Yeah, 24. I got from Good Authority over there, 424 miles or so. I think that our pit was like 208, 205 miles in, something like that. And yes, we were able to run the whole race basically on one fuel pit. So the cars are getting great mileage, or at least this one's getting great mileage for a race car. 5.8 miles a gallon is really, really good. You could have a trophy truck and get 2 miles per gallon, or 1 gallon per mile, or whatever it works out to be. Let's look at the car really quick before we go into Sandsport show stuff, or start walking around the shop. This is a hand-built chassis, completely chromoly from scratch. There is nothing factory about it. If you take a look at some of the stuff down underneath, hard to see without lights in there, but it's all hand-fabricated chromoly, again, from the skid plate to the top. Some people have asked us about what arms are on this, so if you kind of zoom in on that and take a look, you can see that this is a off-road, it's a race version of the factory system. It is not a long travel, it's stock width, but it's extremely strong compared to the factory stuff. And on the spindle area, if you take a look at that, billet spindle on the outside, what we've done is gotten rid of the ball joints, and we've taken the joint itself and turned it from a parallel joint to a vertical joint. Doing that spreads loads out on the joint a little bit more, and you have more longevity with that. So if somebody's looking for a big step up in the suspension components on their Pro R, then that system is what you're going to want. Completely boxed trailing arm, so this whole assembly right here, from here to the back, and maybe come around the rear and take a look at that rear hub too. So box trailing arm on this whole thing too. Basically, we are doing the testing prior to offering this kit to the public, and we'll be able to tell you that we've got a full season on it before we even sell this stuff. Steve?
Justin, what is that on the rear axle?
Here, take a look. This right here, that's actually electric tape. And this is an old racer trick.
A little bit further in, Justin.
Oh, that one.
A little bit further.
Yeah, you're right. Okay. Take a knee and shoot right in there. So that billet aluminum cooling fin right there on that CV. I'm not sure if you can see it from the top or not. But Pro Rs have a natural tendency to get the rear inner CV hot, and especially on the exhaust side over here, because obviously the exhaust is hotter than the other side too. But we designed and made on CNC some billet cooling cups that attach over the inside CV assembly and drop the temperatures by about 60 or 70 degrees. If your dune season's coming up, right? Sandsport show is coming, and if you dune a Pro R for hard, or you put it in two-wheel drive, which more stress on the rear axle than in four-wheel drive, you can probably balloon the boot, especially on the driver's side. So it gets so hot that the boot itself becomes kind of pregnant, and all that expanding gas has nowhere to go, and sometimes it blows the boot off and you lose the CV. That cooler right there will be available, if it's not already, on the website for shock therapy, and you can buy those and drop the temps and stop the CV from ballooning in the dune season that's coming up right now. Instant fix.
Just wanted to say Noah Elias from Geiser Performance tuned in and said these suspension kits are available on the Geiser website.
Tune it, somebody tuned it, what?
Noah Elias from Geiser
Yes.
tuned in
Tuned in.
and said,
Oh,
I thought you said
okay.
tuned it,
I thought you said tuned it.
Tuned
I'm like,
in.
who tuned it? What? They are available?
They
you
are
said?
available.
They are available. So if you guys would like to run this boxed, handmade, chromoly, Baja tested suspension system, then go on to Geiser Performance website and you can pick it up. This system will also be available on Upfit vehicles. So if you want to buy a Pro R, say a Baja Limited, you can upgrade it with that suspension if you like as well. So other things that are on the car, if you come around the front, we've got inner joints are all rod ended. We've got multiple mounts. The frame itself is designed where the front differential actually can drop out the bottom. See this kick out in the frame right there? This kick out allows for the diff to drop straight out, which makes it easy to service, faster to service. We've got what's called a Pressure Pro fuel system, and that's pressurized gasoline in and venting out, so we can do about 40 gallons in about 30 or 40 seconds, something like that. Open up again. No. Steve.
Can I buy a car from you? And if so, who can I contact?
Well, what car do you want? If you want a race car, that's going to go through Geiser. If you would like to have all of these parts on a Baja Limited, which would be something that's more usable for most people, then you will contact us at upfitutv.com, and we will go through the build process with you, and we will direct you to the closest dealership to your area or the dealership that you prefer to actually finalize the sale. All Upfit vehicles are brand new. All of them are sold with Polaris involvement and at the Polaris dealership. So you can go there and buy one that's on their showroom floor, or you can go there and order one the way you want it. We'll build it and send it to them. So that's the process there. Pretty straightforward, warranted and financeable. Can't say that on any other UTV when it comes to accessories. Just not going to happen. Did you have a question over there, Steve?
Nope.
Mitch?
I'm trying to get my phone to work. It keeps
okay.
freezing.
Cool.
It lagged.
Let's go on the inside. So pop in there and I'll go to the other side myself. So inside of the car, carbon fiber dash, carbon fiber internal panels. Not everything is carbon yet because we've been working our way throughout the car, one panel at a time. And we do all the carbon in-house, at least over at Geisers. Carbon seats. You've got multiple screens, multiple digital assemblies. You've got completely aftermarket wiring, all mil-spec and giant GPS. Yes, Steve?
Justin, back to the axles real quick. What is the point of taping them?
The point of taping, thank you for making my mistake sound like I knew what I was talking about. Steve's teeing up the cooling cup and I start talking about electric tape. But taping an axle is an old racer trick. What causes axles and other hardened steel to become weak is a very, very small pit. And you can just take it with a center punch and tick, and that is a weak spot that cracks will start to propagate from. So when the front tires are throwing rocks on the rear axles all day long, rocks can put pits in axles, and that would cause a weak spot, and it can cause an axle to break. It was a really big, important thing 25 years ago when maybe the material and metallurgy wasn't up to spec on rear axles. It's a little less of an issue now, but we still tape up the axles to make sure we don't have a breakage due to a pit. So electric tape's an easy way to do that. Steve, more?
What's your favorite part on this car, Justin?
He just made that up. I just put him on the spot. I don't know that I got there's so much on this thing that is really, really cool. I don't think I have an exact favorite. I think honestly, it's not one part, it's the whole thing. It's the design of the whole vehicle. It's all CAD drawn in advance. We have the least amount of tubes in the right amount of places. Save weight, carbon fiber. Everything's got a home, great ergonomics. You don't hit anything inside the cab. It's not like we ran out of places to put stuff because everything had a place before we started building the car. That's it for internals. And then in the rear, we can see some product development right away. Well, Steve.
Let's go into your product development and then I'll ask my question.
Product development right away. Take a look at that mount. That's a Starlink Mini And this billet mount for a Starlink Mini is, we're basically done with the prototyping stage of that. And that mount and some other accessories that go with that mount, like, not available right now, but in the future, a quick pin for tilting of it, because what if you're on your side and the Starlink no longer works? You can tilt it and actually have Starlink, so you can call your friends to come help you to roll it back over. But that system now, we've got plenty of time on it, and that's what's going on to all of the Upfit vehicles. So Rangers, even an option for the Baja Limiteds, and it works awesome, even at speed. So while we were pre-running, we have these on all of our pre-runners, we were able to have our phone, we were able to do work, we were doing emails while we're driving the car. So, or stop and have a meeting or whatever it was. So really, really awesome. All of it works out great. And we know that it works with the temperature of the radiator in front of it, which was one of the things we were trying to test as opposed to putting it on the roof. And the reason we didn't put it on the roof is because what if you roll the car and break it? It's expensive. So we're trying to hide it in places so if you did roll the car, you still have Starlink when you roll it back over. Steve.
I forget my other question, but I'll read one from the list. Why not sell Upfit parts separate? I'm a poor AZ boy who can't afford the whole package, but I love the seat covers a lot.
Okay, so the reason that we do that, take a look at a Shelby truck at a Ford dealership. You cannot buy the Shelby engine package, you can't buy their tune, you can't buy their interior, you can't buy the dash, you can't buy the fender, you can't buy the Shelby wheels and take all of those parts and create your own Shelby truck. That's by design, and we've adopted that as well. But we do have some good news for you. So all of the packages you see, like a Baja Limited, and that's at $29,000 worth of upgrade. We are in the middle of coming out with $15,000 to $20,000 versions. So you can get less and you can work your way up. If you own a upfitted model and you got the $15,000 package, you have the ability and you have the exclusivity of being able to call us, and you can buy all the other parts to make it whatever you want because you have an upfitted unit. But if you don't, not going to work that way. Now, some of these parts are interchangeable with Geiser parts, and in case you didn't know, we merged with Geiser, and they are within our building and are building all the components and fabricated parts for the upfitted vehicles. So we are one, and maybe let's walk outside, and we'll make our way over there. But to finish your question, you can buy parts if you already got, once we come out with a lesser upfitted unit, you can buy parts to make it better if you want to, and we'll be able to sell it to you that way. If you like the cage on the upfitted units, then you can buy a Geiser version from them. You will not be able to buy an upfitted branded unit like that. And the interior, we're not offering it yet, we're not selling it yet, but if you pick up, the earlier version or the lesser version, you might be able to do that. Steve, Mitch?
There's a couple more questions on race car stuff.
Yeah, race car.
What do you carry for tools and other emergency stuff?
So we're very specific on the tool side. We've got Boxo tool kit, which is a rollout kit that has all the basics. What's that?
Talk louder.
I need to talk louder?
Well, because the microphone's only for the main. People aren't going to be able to hear you. Talk a little louder, or get a little closer.
Oh, man. So you have a mic close? No? No.
It's only for YouTube. It doesn't work for the...
Oh,
yeah, so
all right.
Just talk a little louder.
So when it comes to tools on the race car, we only carry the tools that belong on the car. For instance, we don't have a 7mm wrench. We don't have a 23mm wrench, right? We just have the stuff that is going to fit hardware that's on the vehicle. Try and keep it light. And basically to do the whole car is one rollout kit. We could rebuild the whole thing with that. And we've made some wrenches, like 32s, I think 32mm on the outside and a special socket. But we cut half the wrench off of it so that it's not too heavy and it fits in the back. Other race car questions?
What ST parts are on the race car?
Oh, good question. So shock therapy parts, we've got all the shock tune, shock bypass tubes, coil spring kit, lower billet fork kit, the lower spring perch. We've got sway bar links. We've got all of our tie rods and steering assembly for this car. We have our rear radius rods on it. We have toe link kit on it. And we have limit straps on the car. So basically everything that you can get for a Pro R is on that race car Pro R. Steve.
Justin, first I'd like to say, God damn, this is a big building. And number two, is it FIA approved or will it be? Not sure what that means.
Our race car is not FIA approved. The only one that is racing in like Score, Best in Desert that is FIA approved is the factory Polaris team. So they plan on selling that car to the public and to other racers, like somebody that's running Dakar. So it must be FIA. Ours is not. In some of the things that are required there, you can't run intrusion bars because they want you to escape through the front. Not the best idea in Mexico because we all know you can hit cows, and that's why you have intrusion bars. Also, it's metric tubing, and we did not do metric tubing on this car. 1 3/4. Mitch.
Are you going to race Legacy?
I don't have any plans on racing Legacy at the moment, but so here's the deal. Legacy puts on a great show, and we will end up racing some Legacy stuff. Just been too busy trying to set up the building and set up the business and get everything rolling to even go racing lately. So what will probably happen is when we look at the calendar and this weekend or next weekend, we've got a little bit of time on our hands and there happens to be a race, we're going to go hit it. So there you go, the answer to that. Why are you smiling like that, Steve?
Don't you like that I smile?
I do, but it's like you,
No.
I don't know, like
the
the
guy
cat.
that said he's poor said, "Grr, looks like I'll only be able to afford a set of tube socks in size small for my third member."
Look, we all got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you're thinking of Steve while in the bedroom
You're welcome.
or in the office at work. I'm not, who knows?
What's your next race, Justin?
Next race, the car's going to go down. Corey's going to take it and run the, I forget who puts it on, but it's in Rocky Point. So this weekend it'll be in Rocky Point, and we're considering running Laughlin if we have time. Other than that, we'll be at the Baja 1000 no matter what. All of our plan basically is to run mileage on the car, then we'll prep it for the 1000. So while we're walking around, if you don't have more race car questions.
Yeah, Justin,
Yeah.
do you have a race rental program?
No, I'm not letting anybody touch that thing unless they built it. Take a look what you got going on over here. I'm just blowing
Cars-
sideways.
cars
right?
on cars,
We got
Justin.
cars on top of cars, all 2025s for the most part, brand new, lined up. And then we have some, also 25s on the left, and some completed, upfitted units like these over here on the right. We've got a tailgater right here. Is the battery on that one? Dom, can you go inside and flip the TV up? So here's a tailgater from Upfit. It's basically a Ranger with all the cool stuff, long travels, lift, tinted windows, stereo, Fox shock package, shock therapy tune. The roof assembly, nope, never mind, we're not gonna show you everything on that. But roof assembly's got Starlink, and we've got a TV in the tailgate connected to the stereo so you can watch your favorite game in the middle of nowhere. This way, more completed units. We've got Ranch Edition, which is probably shipping out to Houston. We've got another Ranch Edition in a Baja going up to probably Utah. And these guys over here, these are some of the vehicles that we're bringing to the Sandsport Super Show. Kind of lining up the stuff that we're completing for the show. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
You don't know. You're
listening.
guessing. But take a look at this. So in the back, on the tailgater, inside the tonneau cover is a 50-inch flat screen. Take a look. Oop, come here. A little tight. Take a look at all the billet mechanism. This is all CNC mechanism for that system. With the TV up and everything turned on and outside, we've got Starlink connected to whatever you want to watch, and you can show all your friends, maybe go to the dunes and park someplace for a drink, and then have a good time at the swing set or over at Comp Hill or Oles or wherever you want. Steve, where are we going?
Let's go back to the router. There's a lot of people on Wi-Fi right now here, Justin, and there was not this many earlier when we tested it.
I see. Gotcha. So a couple more completed vehicles over here. This one with a flat tire is a custom body sand car that we're bringing to the sand show. You guys will be able to take a look at that later. Also that pegboard right there, take a look at that. That's mil-spec wiring that's getting done for all the wire looms on these vehicles. Brand new Expeditions. We have Expedition packages coming out soon. These are lining up to get all the stuff installed on it. Baja Limited, Ranch, Baja Limited, more ranches, 25s in the works. Over here, 2025 Sandcar. Doing some last minute work, knocking this out, and this one will actually be at the sand show so you can see what our sand edition, which, by the way, our sand edition is called a DSR. That stands for Dual Sport R. Dual Sport Pro R, right? But Dual Sport is our sand edition. It comes equipped with everything you're going to want for the sand: giant cooler, sand tires, honestly, disco lights on the bottom. I mean, you can throw a party in the thing wherever you want to park it. But it still has all the best parts on it. You can throw dirt tires on it, and you can take to the dirt. Steve.
Justin, I saw a lot of IBOC boxes laying around in the last live feed. What was up with that?
Well, we always use IBOC for a ton of stuff like testing. So if we get a brand new unit in, it could be like the Kawasaki or the new Yamaha, and it's got a custom size on it, or it's got a custom size shock on it that's not standardized. We don't have spring for it. Then we'll buy IBOCs. We'll buy them from Mirage, or we'll buy them from Pack or whoever has got springs so that we can do our testing, and then we'll order up our brand of it, our version of it, with our quality of spring, and have that in stock for that kit. So there you go. Mitch.
He's helping me because I'm having technical difficulties.
You're having technical difficulties. I apologize for that. We didn't make it through there, but if you look way over there against the far wall, you'll see an open door, and through that door is a new location for Geiser Performance. And we'll take you through there when we get a whole bunch of stuff set up, new equipment, CNC machines. We've got CNC benders, mandrel stuff, new lasers, a ton of stuff going on over there, and we'll show you around when we get a chance. But right now we're just kind of standing inside the assembly bays for Upfit. If you take a look over that way, we've got inventory, and if you take a look to the left, there's wheels and tires. We've got pre-assembly, and again, don't judge, but we're just moved in, so we're kind of we'll tidy up and get everything out of boxes a little at a time. We'll take you for another tour when it's all dialed in. Steve.
Yes.
What do you got going on, sir?
Not much, Justin. The same guy that asked about the IBOC boxes laying around wants to know, are our springs made by IBOC?
They are not. So everybody's got rumors on where our springs come from. Honestly, it's entertaining to me to watch, but the reason we don't tell you is because every one of our competition would love to go and have their springs done where we get them done. So we keep that to ourselves. But IBOC does not make our spring. We used to buy springs from IBOC like 10 years ago, but we ended up ordering more and more and more, and we would order 400 at a time, 1,000 at a time, and a lot of times they didn't have it on the shelf. So we started to have our own made. All of our springs are made in the US. We use 2 or 3 vendors. They make our springs specifically to our specifications, which is all mil spec. And if you know a little bit about springs, they're rated, or how they're gauged in quality, the material, whether it's cold wound, hot wound, heat treated, not. All these processes are different and add up to a quality spring lasting longer. What we do is all the expensive hard stuff. We cold wind the spring, which lasts longer and doesn't have a lot of the issues of a hot wound system. We acid wash, we bead blast, we hard surface the spring before they're powder coated. Our rates typically in the industry, 6 to 7% rate change, like say a 400-pound spring could be 6% up or 6% below that and still be good. Our requirements are 3% or less, so our rates are better than most, or tighter than most. And dimensionally, having a spring sit one way or the other, the angle of what that is, industry standards about 5 degrees actually, which is 6% of overall length. There's a whole formula for that, and we are 2. So quality-wise, we're very proud of our springs. They're made really, really nice so that they last a long time for you. We just don't have spring failures. I mean, you're thinking like the last 3 million springs. I'm asking both Mitch and Steve. You think over the last 9 years, we probably sold 4 to 5 million springs. Out of that, I'm going to guess I've seen 6 upper springs that might have had a problem.
I was going to say 4.
4? That was a pretty good guess then. Yeah, like ever. And typically when they break, there's something else causing it. But That's it. So super high quality. We're very proud of it. Sorry, I got on a soapbox about springs, but I'm proud of those, like my kids. Questions? Steve?
My boyfriend got y'all's shocks, and they are amazing in the sand dunes. Best ever. Thanks, Melissac.
Well, thank you.
Melissac, thank you.
I like the testimonial. Very, very cool. At this time, I think I'll stop talking about race car stuff and talking about Upfit stuff. Thanks for joining us in the Upfit building, even though it's a little bit early to be showing you guys all this stuff. But we're also proud of where that's going and want you to be involved. Steve, I think I'll let you take over, and let's talk about the sand show.
There was
And-
one question that I
Oh,
did
yeah.
have
What did you have?
when we first started. When they're taking photos, how are they uploading them to where we can see them?
They are not going to upload them. That is a great question, Mitchie. They are going to leave them on their cellular device, and then they're going to come to the trailer at 3:30, and I'm going to put my sticky little hands
What
on
day?
it, and I'm going to check through on Saturday, September 21st, Justin, at the Sand Sports Super Show in Costa Mesa, California.
Okay, 3:30 at the booth. At
And
the
then I will
semi.
announce the winner around 4 o'clock, depending how many people
Okay.
are participating.
So-
But I will be going through.
I would imagine, I'm just gonna say, Steve, we got 20 people with their phones, holding their phones up, and you gotta do it all at the same time.
Yep.
I'm probably gonna guess that all you're gonna do is ask them how many you got. And they're gonna go, I got 40.
And I'll probably.
And then you're like,
Looks
not
about
enough,
right.
not enough, move along.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
yeah, I got 50. Okay, you're in
Yes.
the top. Let's see where everybody's at. And then you're gonna look through them and you're gonna verify 50.
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. So, but yes, come to the shock therapy semi at 3:30. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of people. I hope there's a bunch of people that participate. I really want you to take Justin's money. But you go ahead and come on through, and I will be checking all pictures, and we'll be giving away some cash prizes.
Steve, you weren't in the meeting that we had this morning about this,
Oh, it's my money, isn't it?
but we decided it's gonna be your money. It's not gonna be my money at all.
All right, that's fine.
What are the prizes again?
First place prize, Dominic Galindo, is $1,000. Second place is going to be $500, and third, $250. I should have been a game show host.
Steve.
Yes, Justin.
What are we gonna have at the show and the shock therapy booth? What's gonna be there?
Our shock therapy semi will be there, guys. No, we're going to be having lots of stuff on display. We're going to have our Mavar. There's also going to be right next to us a company called Upfit. They're pretty badass, make some really cool vehicles. They're going to be right next to us as well with a lot of shock therapy stuff on it. But we're going to have our merchandise semi out there with everything for sale, not on sale. And we're going to have a couple of things that you
Well,
can
I
test,
don't know.
like
I
IQS.
think
We might have
we might be in
sale.
a really good mood and throw one.
It's true. But,
It can happen.
I don't want to say that now, but we will have stuff for sale. And then come talk to me, and it'll be on sale because I need some money to be able to pay you guys for this.
There it is. All sales are cash only and give it to
It goes
Steve.
to me.
And then that way he can just give it back to you when you win. No, kidding. One, I'm going to throw some more stuff at you with this, okay? We will have in the shock therapy booth the new Baja edition Mavar for Upfit. People have been asking if we're going to start doing Can-Ams.
Oh.
There it is.
Yeah,
we'll
guys.
have all of that, so you can take a look at that if you guys would like to get a Baja version of your Can-Am there. We also are done with a Defender, but we're not going to have that on display. And we'll be announcing this here pretty quick. Also, we have a new product that we've been talking about that I've been saying is 2 weeks away for the last year. Do you know what that is? You weren't in that meeting either. That's
Yeah,
gonna
I'm
be-
sure it's going to come out of my
going to
cut.
be there.
Wear sleeves.
That's another one.
Oh,
Good
guys,
one.
2 more weeks. 2 more weeks. Another one, something that you announced.
So we will actually have wear sleeves in the semi or out, so we're going to have them on display so you can take a look at body sleeves, shock body sleeves that are coming out. You'll be able to see that.
Does the thing you're talking about have to do with some sort of linkage?
Yes.
Oh, is it
As a matter of fact, it does.
electronic?
It is.
Oh, Justin,
getting
go ahead
warmer.
and take it away.
Mitch, what's the new name for this? I think that is changed.
QSE.
QSE. We've called it eSway. It is now QSE links. And QSE links, kind of a derivative of a QS3 shock and adjustability and things like that within the Fox part number system, basically. And it is electronic sway bar control. You can turn it on and off. We will have that on one of the Upfit vehicles. You can take a look at it. Fully functional, and they will be available on our site after the Sand Sport show as soon as we do some instructions for you all to have. But you can take a look at that too. And we will have Upfit vehicles on display. You can take a look at those in person. And we plan PlayStation on the tailgater, or what are we going to have on that? I forget.
We'll get one for it.
All right, well, you can bring the kids over. They can play on the tailgater if you want to, too. What? Steve will be on there.
yeah.
He'll be on there all day. He won't be working.
Yeah, I guess I'm buying a PlayStation 5.
Yeah. Anything else on shock therapy stuff in the Sand Show?
Mitch has something.
I got a product I'm going to be giving you, but I'm not going to talk about it. If you come by the semi, you'll be able to see it. So stop by and check it out.
Whoa. I don't understand what
That
you're
was
saying.
very subliminal.
Super
didn't-
top secret product that's going to be at the Sand Show, and you can only see it if you come by the semi.
Oh, this is secret stuff that you've been brewing up?
Yes.
Ooh.
Secret stuff. So stop by the semi. Come check it out.
Well, even I don't know what it is.
I
He's got
actually don't know
something.
what it is.
I don't know. It might be in his pocket.
Yeah, but that's really all I got, Justin. You got anything else?
I really don't, man. If anybody's got questions, that's all I got. Otherwise, you might as well check out.
We'll take it away here, guys. Please, this weekend for September 20th, 21st, and 22nd, come by Costa Mesa and come see us at the Sand Sports Super Show. We're going to have the Upfit booth and the Shock Therapy booth right next to each other. Any of the products that we've talked about today, if you want to buy them, go to shocktherapy.com. And if you have any questions, call 623-217-4959.